Homies, desktop replacements just got a whole lot smaller. Good afternoon and welcome to Turbo Tortoise Tech. If you're new here, I'm Reese of the 4-piece variety Augie Triple XL, and I've got this RAIDER GE77 HX, and what a pretty thing it is. But it's not really made for that. They just sort of Bugatti Veyron it, where they put literally like the best components you could possibly want to have in a notebook, and then they made it look the part as well. So good job on that from MSI. I do quite like it. I actually really do like the sort of overwrought branding and the light beams and this huge MSI that's on the back lid over here, and the logo, and even the trusses like on the bottom corners. I just really overall like the presentation of this notebook. It's sleek, but it's just letting you know that here lies a monster. It's absolutely savage. Desktop replacements have been around for a while, and MSI has been doing crazy variants of them for quite a while. GT82 springs to mind with a full mechanical built-in keyboard. That was like absolutely nuts. When everybody was going as slim as possible, they went in a little bit of a different direction, and those were like nearly 6-kilogram notebooks. They're absolutely monolithic. This though, as thick as it is half the weight of that, 2.9 kilos with everything packaged into it. And like I said, what a bloody beautiful package it is. I almost cursed there for the first time on the channel ever because of just how nice of a this thing is. It's stupid. It's the progression of 12th gen has been such that watt for watt, it's especially on mobile, it's practically uncompatible. There seems to be like a point where it just leaks efficiency very poorly, which we've seen with 12900K hitting 272 odd watts just by itself. But in the mobility area, they are absolutely crushing it on wattage versus performance, and that's exactly what you need to create a proper desktop replacement. So in this instance, this guy over here, I'm not kidding, it actually beat my PC. My 5900X and my Supreme X 3070 Ti and also MSI powered machine lost to this, and the Supreme X is pretty much one of the best versions of the 30 or the 3000 series, even rated there by Gamers Nexus and Steve, who's incredibly fussy and detailed with these sort of reviews, and even he rated those as some of the best graphics cards around. So even against MSI's own stock, it's even better than that. So without further ado, let me go through the notebook setup. Let's start off at the top. Webcam in the middle over here, little pin on microphone, 720 webcam, just good enough for taking conference calls and Zoom and etc. Anything that you would need there. It's going to checkbox pretty nicely. No like amazing lighting control or anything with that. It's just a good standard webcam. Monitor. QHD 1440p. I like the 1440p usage. I think that's the sweet spot right now, especially if you are seeking some frame rate and higher refresh rate, and that's exactly what they've done, making it a 240 hertz. So this is a esports ready monitor built into the laptop. Very nice to have. IPS as well. It does have a small problem, but I'll get into that a little bit later and actually show you how I managed to fix that. Full chiclet keyboard, and this time even the function keys have shine through. So one guy in the comments, they wanted to shout at me because of how MSI built their keyboard. Now you can't, because they've literally done the thing you're asking for. The LED backlighting is a little touch weak, I would say, on this, but in a dark environment where its job is to be able to show you the keys, it's still going to be able to do that quite nicely. Good touchpad, even as small as it is. Really, really good touchpad. I did find sometimes the clicking surface for left and right was a little bit narrow. There is like a dead space like in the middle of about 5 mils that I found, but outside of that, the performance was pretty good. The actual feel of it and navigating around with it wasn't unpleasant. Let's say that. It did its job. perfectly well. Light beam across the bottom over here is one of the first unique ports of calls. This is actually an addressable system, which you can then control inside of the SteelSeries software, which is kind of nice. And I absolutely love the frosted sort of, or not frosted finished, but what is this finish? We've been using it in automotive. The smoked out, there we go. Smoked glass like that has always looked good. We've seen it in automotive for a number of years, and it's been a highlight there. So nice to see it, like I say, taking those automotive cues onto this notebook. Very good work there from MSI. Now we move around the bottom. That's where some stuff starts to get a little bit more interesting. On the bottom, there is a literal like shelf over here for the cooling. It's built completely angled, so no matter what surface you're putting it on, the cooling should have space for it to do its job. They've got big rubberized feet on all four corners. You can see the back ones are extremely well done. The front, like left or on your screen, probably bottom right, you'll see like a weird like 3-line pattern. That's actually for one of the speakers that's in there. Factory seal just above that to make sure, you know, it hasn't been opened, but it is also a one-piece opening, and then the bottom should slide off. So doing upgrades and stuff shouldn't be too difficult with this. MSI RAIDER GE in the bottom left over here, I quite like it with that branding. Moving around the back, they've done a nice move over here. Power, RJ45, a Thunderbolt, so you can go out to a dock, and then your HDMI, which I believe is on the 2.1, so it's going to be able to do high refresh rate, etc. from there. But on the left-hand side, they've included another display port over there with another Type A USB, and then your headphone jack. And then on the right-hand side, you've got 2 more Type A's and a card reader. So plenty of connectivity, 3 USB Type A's, a Thunderbolt, and a display port out. It's well catered for, so that if you wanted to do any dock, etc., you'll be able to do that quite comfortably. Really good audio on this as well. The DIN audio stuff, the actual speakers built into the laptop are so overwrought for laptop speakers. It's like having a little Bluetooth speaker with you on the way. Like, it's almost like that kind of level. Obviously lacking in some bass just because of how much reverberation space it's got within the chassis. But yeah, they are really, really good. You could watch movies and TV and stuff with it, absolutely no problems. And the built-in sound card is A plus, top class. So the package is quite nice, but let's talk about performance. So NVMe performance, absolutely incredible. As you'll see from the score on your screen, 7,000 on the read, 5,000 on the write as a baseline. Really good performance on the smaller file sizes. Bearing in mind that 2.5 inch at its absolute best is only going to get you like 500 megs read and write. So yeah, NVMe performance on this, check. 32 gigs, 4800 megahertz RAM as well. So nice DDR5 memory setup to get you the best of that 12th generation processor when you're looking at multi-threading. Networking and stuff on this was absolutely fantastic. Did experience one small dip, and I genuinely can't account for what had happened there, but the peaks were actually really good. They were over a gigabit, and that's the first time something's actually used my Wi-Fi past 866 megabits. So it's the first time any laptop has actually gone over the 80 megabytes per second transfer rate. So well done there on whatever you did, it has worked. The monitor, like I said, does have a small problem. What you need to do in order to fix it is actually just max the gamma slider. I found that the gamer mode was pretty much the best. The Adobe sRGB mode was also really good, but it has like a gamma issue. And actually, if you take that slider and you max it all the way to the side, it absolutely clears up the picture like a boatload. There is also a known fault at the moment with the MSI True Color and with some of the graphics card drivers. So pretty easy fix for that. Just uninstall MSI True Color, update your drivers for your Intel and your NVIDIA graphics card to the latest version, and then that will already make a big difference. But I found that within True Color, if I did that customization, it just suddenly this thing came to life, and it's still in that mode now. It is significantly better than what comes shipped out of the box. But it's always nice is with MSI software, something that they do quite well on is their software packages, and that's a great example to it. Now let us move on to the chief components, however, in the processor and this graphics card combination that MSI shoved into the chassis somehow. Wangled it in there with Gordon Freeman's crowbar himself, pretty much. The processor keeps up with my water-cooled 5900X. So a 5900X with a 280mm water cooler on it with push-pull with 32 gigs RAM, quad bank of 8 gig, 3600 CL18s, and this keeps up with it in multi-threaded performance on Cinebench. That's unheard of. That's when I saw the scores, I was like, I'm going to have to compare this to a desktop processor because that's the kind of class of processor that's being brought to the fold. Now you can get extra performance with the cooler boost once again. This time it's actually quite a significant jump because as the wattage goes up on the 12800X, I've seen with some of the other reviews and stuff done on this processor, it generally likes to be left wattage spare kind of thing. It needs that to get the most out of that processor. It's almost like a little bit of a leak in there to get there sort of thing. And it did draw 150 watt, nearly 160 watts during that test. So it will get up there. Temps as well handled though. 80s, very much in line with the current TDPs and boost clocks and stuff that we're seeing from both Team Red and Team Blue. So well done on keeping it cool inside the notebook. Audio from that, especially with Cooler Boost, is insane. Cooler Boost is like an 8 to 10 decibel increase in volume level, as you'll see with the sound meter on your screen now. So yeah, you are going to experience some noise if you hit the Cooler Boost. Let me give you a live demonstration over here as well. So if I just function F8, and now we are primed for takeoff. But the fact that I can just push 2 buttons and then turn it back off is just, it's one of the things I absolutely love about the MSI notebooks, is that I can just cooler boost on and off as I need to. Without it, you're going to look at about a 10% offshoot from that, but then the audio profile is like way down. But it's nice that if you do have a long render, 10% is a lot. So if you have a long render, you can just add 10, maybe even 15% to your overall render performance at the click of a button. Always nice to have. And that's why this thing's more like a workstation class notebook than just like a normal, like the G72. Great notebook, but this is like a workstation, literally, as far as processing power goes. You've got a server in your pocket. You could run like a whole company off of this, of like 20 people with Active Directory, etc. And I don't think it would actually mind. Like, it's kind of nuts how much processing power is in this notebook. Blender as well, same sort of thing. Just absolutely insane scores coming out of the 12800 HX. But that's not actually what this thing is made for specifically. This, clearly, with all the RGB and all the flair, has been made for gaming, including this absolutely wonderful monitor. So I set out obviously to go in the PC breaker games like your Vermintides and your Metros and your Cyberpunk, and it just didn't care. It just literally didn't care. The performance was basically exactly what I saw on my desktop. And even in games like Metro, where it's getting absolutely bent over the knee and broken, you just fiddle with some DLSS, you put it on balanced. There's literally no visual difference between having it on and off, and your frame rate doubles. You go over 90 FPS with absolutely everything maxed out on 2K. So if you're worried that it wouldn't be able to like drive this monitor at 1440p, there's no problem there. If you want to play CS, try like 500 FPS average. I mean, it's an animal. It's animalistic is what it is. Okay, absolutely sick. Same thing in Vermintide, 150 FPS on a 1440p Vermintide. My build actually doesn't even get there. It hits like 135 on the average. So this is like slightly faster. So it does trade blows like that back and forth. But if we just look at Firestrike, you can see like how the general like flat the performance is, time spy as well. Like it's very comparable between a full 30 odd kilo desktop system. I mean, if I took my drives out, let's say 25 kilo, and I still need quite a big chassis because just my GPU is 1.8 kilos. This whole notebook is 2.9. You can sort of see the point. In 1.1 kilos, they fitted everything else somehow into this like witchcraft platform once again. Absolutely staggeringly good. Cooling and performance and stuff, I have really no notes. The only thing that was a bit sketch for me was the monitor until I got it fixed. That was literally the only problem I had in the entire test and running of this notebook. From the keyboard, like everything is really good. This is their magnum opus, and I'm so glad it's in this chassis and not in a GT82, which weighs like close on 6 kilograms. This is half of the weight. Yeah, 330 watt brick. I mean, it's serious. It's going to, you know, produce some power for you though, because the GPU I've seen can get up to like 170, and I think the peak I saw for the processor was about 140, 150. So including the rest of the components that it needs to run, etc. You're looking at like 300, and the 330 watt is right on the cusp. So, but they've done well to obviously spec the power bank with that. Battery life as well on this was impressive. So something I've kind of skipped over. I did 2 sets of battery tests, one with my normal settings, 60% brightness, 60% volume, like the default test that I run on pretty much all notebooks, just over 5 hours. But this monitor looked quite bright at 60%. So I put it to a comfortable level, and similarly with the audio from the jack, I had a little set of headphones plugged in, and it went over nearly, well, it was 6 hours and 40 odd minutes, so nearly 7 hours you can get worth of constant video playback while it still has that power. However, don't try and game on the battery. It's just not gonna discharge enough power. Frame rates go to like 1/3 of what they would be normally. So yeah, that didn't go very well. And I tried AI and smart and all of that sort of stuff. Gaming on the battery, especially on a AAA level, just don't even think about it. If you want to play CS or Dota or something to that effect, as you can see from the performance results, this thing just genuinely just doesn't care. It's kind of a monster. And playing Need for Speed, I have to say, it was like a highlight for me on this. It felt super good on this panel, even though it wasn't like a giga high frame rate. It felt so clean and crisp at the 1440p, and this very good pixel response time on this. There's absolutely no smearing or anything at any frame rate. Very, very crisp, nice monitor, especially once you get that gamma right. Outside of that, this basically, I have no notes. This is like as close to perfect as damn it is to swearing. Anywho, that is all I have for you on the MSI RAIDER GE77 HX. If you have enjoyed this review, please hit us up with a like and subscribe, and I will see you on the flip side.